Rome's genius for war. The machines that built an empire. When people think of Rome, they picture aqueducts, marble statues, and mighty roads, but behind the civilization stood a ruthless war machine. Beneath triumphal arches and elegant columns lay a darker genius, Rome's mastery of destruction. It wasn't just armies that conquered the world, it was the tools they carried. Weapons engineered to rip through armor, shatter walls, and end resistance before it could rise. These weren't relics, they were blueprints of domination. Ballista, Rome's sniper rifle. The Roman ballista was a masterpiece of precision and power. It launched bolts or stones with lethal force using tightly wound torsion springs made from twisted sinew. With a mechanical claw, soldiers could release devastating projectiles at pinpoint targets, enemy troops, towers, or gates. Unlike the arc of a bow, ballistae fired on a flat, fast trajectory. Some were even mounted on wagons and towers, serving as ancient mobile artillery. In the hands of Roman engineers, the ballista became a weapon of surgical terror. Onager, the war donkey that shattered walls. The onager, named after a wild ass for the way it kicked back during fire, was a catapult built for raw power. A single vertical arm, wound into a twisted rope bundle, hurled stones the size of cannonballs. Recoil was so violent that onagers couldn't be placed on walls, they'd shake them apart. Modified with slings for greater range and lighter arms for speed, they became portable engines of destruction. Each legion carried them into battle. Each one could level a wall of morale. Siege towers, mobile fortresses towering above the battlefield. Roman siege towers rolled forward like wooden skyscrapers, reinforced with iron or covered in fireproof hides. These massive structures housed archers, spearmen, and battering rams. Stairways led soldiers to the top, where they stormed over enemy walls under a curtain of arrows. Some towers were even mounted on ships. At Masada, Rome's most famous siege ram, still remains a monument to the terrifying patience of Roman siege warfare. Battering rams. The gate-crushing tortoise. The Roman battering ram wasn't just a logo, it was a calculated instrument of shock. Suspended in a wheeled shelter, the iron-capped ram was swung with rhythm to pound through gates and fortress walls. These rams were protected by a shell called the tortoise, soaked in water to resist fire. Some had hooks for pulling stones loose. Others were light enough to be carried and smashed directly into weak points. The first strike wasn't just an attack, it was a declaration. Mercy ends here. Gladius, the sword that won an empire, short, brutal, and designed for stabbing. The Gladius Hispaniensis was born in Iberia but perfected by Rome. Legionaries wielded it in tight formations, shield to shield, driving the blade beneath ribs and through armor. Its deadly point turned every Roman soldier into a lethal weapon. Pattern welded for strength, balanced for precision, and crafted for mass production, the Gladius was the tool of Emperor. It never needed more than one strike. Corvus, turning the sea into land war. Rome didn't start with a navy, but it didn't need one. It brought infantry tactics to the sea with the corvus, a massive boarding bridge with an iron spike that locked enemy ships in place. Once dropped, Roman soldiers swarmed across, turning ships into battlegrounds. It leveled the playing field against the Carthaginian fleet and helped to win the First Punic War. The message was clear. You can't outrun a Roman soldier, even at sea. Camps, fortresses built overnight. Wherever a Roman army marched, it carried its city. Modular, grid planned, and defensible. Roman camps or castra were built with clockwork discipline. Trenches, palisades, watchtowers, and roads sprang up in hostile territory. Soldiers knew their assigned spots, their tentmates, their duties. Even at rest, Rome was always at war and always prepared. Field traps, invisible weapons of war. Some of Rome's most brutal weapons were never seen until it was too late. Caltrops scattered on roads crippled horses and elephants. Hidden pits impaled soldiers. Spiked ditches turned battlefields into mazes of death. Psychological warfare mixed with physical traps made every approach a risk and every advance a gamble. Standardized gear. Every soldier a system. The true weapon of Rome was standardization. Every soldier carried the same armor, shield, javelin, the scutum curved to protect, the larica segmentata layered for movement, and the helmet guarded all angles. This wasn't uniformity for looks, it was a machine of men, replaceable, trainable, and instantly deployed. Conclusion. A war machine built to last. Rome didn't just win battles with strength, it won with systems. Its genius lay in turning war into routine, machines into tools of terror, and soldiers into instruments of empire. From towering siege engines to a simple sword thrust, every invention served one purpose: total control. Their technology didn't just fight, it dominated. And that is why, 2,000 years later, we're still awed by the brutal brilliance of Rome's war machine.